This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence.
Hi, I'm Barb.
And I'm Alex.
And we're Enchanterium. In today's video, we'll be opening a very special package from our dear friend, doll friend, girlfriend, Moonlight Jewel. A knife! No! I hope she knows that we are friends. So, we are getting the full experience thanks to Elisa's
Goodwill.
hand job. Why? Why can I be not serious? So, apparently we're getting almost pre-order experience, as this is just a sample, but we're still going to get it in the packaging and with the certificate, so that's awesome.
So cute.
It's very cute. And I think this is a sleeve. Push me. I don't want to destroy. Oh, there we go.
Yay!
And show the back.
And the back is close up of the face.
Yeah, and then the color is there, and
Yes.
and this is logo. It's in the front.
It's super cute. Enchanterium, ready for action.
Ooh, it comes in like a diskette case, like a floppy disk case. Might be like a SD card or something.
It's a birth certificate.
Yeah, and you can fill it in on the inside and put a photo in. That's so cute. Because it has a speaker
Oh wow.
that you can put into Miko's head. And there's pink marshmallows! Yeah! Yeah! I think this is the doll.
Yes.
It's pretty large and in charge. And this will be the tail.
In charge.
In charge. Very funny. These are the feet and hands. A stand? I'm not sure what this
Probably.
is.
Or her little butt.
I have the feet. So cute. Oh, they have magnets.
And I have the hands. Ooh, there are 3 pairs. Very pretty. And
Aww.
and a grabbing one. Oh no, it's like a heart.
Yeah, it's like
thing.
here. The tail as well, which is like a little plug. Also magnetized.
Oh, such a cutie. Whoa, whoa, she's
She's a bit top heavy, but
big. Let's see how the joints work. The hands are double jointed, so are the legs. And she can do like this kind of seat. Tail looks like this. And it's super cute. It's like a retro computer vibe or TV vibe.
Oh, that's it.
Oh, it's customized! Especially for us.
Yay! So cool.
It's you.
It's you. We want you. Chyba trzeba tu trochę... Trzeba chyba naciągnąć na gumki. It's really cute. Really like it. Like this idea. And we have the speaker.
A lot of cute details.
A lot of cute details, yes.
I don't know. And you can then ask Alexa or
No,
Siri.
I don't think it's Alexa compatible.
I mean, you can put like a
Podcast
in
on?
Meeko to imitate.
Having a conversation?
No,
Listening
no.
to a friend?
Listening to a show like on TV because that's
Oh, I
TV,
see. Okay.
not a computer.
Computer.
Or you can put like a techno music and do like this. Yes.
No. Well.
At first, I wanted this doll to be inspired by the video game called Inscription, which doesn't make a lot of sense if I don't go into spoiler territory. We dropped this idea pretty early in the development of this concept though, as the Miko video was moved a couple times and I stopped being excited about the concept. It still will be video game themed, as I recently caved in and got a copy of Stray, the game where you are a cat in a city full of robots. I'm wondering if this is also a spoiler. This doll is both a cat and somewhat a robot because of the TV head, so we took inspiration from the sort of neon, post-apo, stereotypical densely populated Asian city style of the environment of the game. It's really pretty in the game actually, so I advise you to check it out. This video is also a Meeko collaboration between us, Etellan, and Moonlight Jewel. Let's start with customizing the body. This is a Cyberpunk project and I want her to be a cyborg with mechanical parts on the legs and chest. I'm separating the calves and drilling a few holes in the resin. The holes are for an EL wire that will stick out of her body. Assembling the wire will be the last thing we'll do, but the holes have to be there before I paint the decorations. For the machine parts, I chose a dark grey color and a cartoon vibe. I'm not an engineer, and I'm not really interested in mechas and robots in general, so I won't even try to justify the metal parts. They are here just to look cool and not serve any other purpose. So I'm painting random stripes and bolts and parts that are not very complex, but will look good with the TV head. When the paint is dry, I can add chalk pastels on top, and this is where I went a bit from the cartoon aesthetic to more of a semi-real one. The shadows add a cool look and make the elements appear more 3D. I couldn't stop on the calves when I had these cute hearts right above. I think it's going to look more natural if I end the cyborg parts with a cute detail like a heart. I'm using the same colors and techniques as on the legs. And the last place I want to paint is her chest. I made a few holes for the wire here as well, but I'm painting around just like on the legs. And this is how it looks. The pastels are protected with 2 layers of Mr. Super Clear sealant, and all the painted parts are covered with 3 thin layers of matte acrylic varnish so it won't chip. If you're looking to build a presence online, Squarespace is the perfect place to sort out all of your website needs. Do you need a domain? You can get it on Squarespace, and it will renew every year for the same price. Do you want to book people for appointments? You can do it on Squarespace with their scheduling tools. Do you want to shop on your website? Squarespace has got it. I have one on our Squarespace website, which is Enchanterium.com, and you should visit it. And it's super easy to use. You can have digital files, print on demand, regular physical products, anything you think your shop would need. They already thought about it before you, and it's an option on Squarespace so you can make a website easily. So if that sounds good to you, you can go to squarespace.com/Enchanterium to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now back to the video. Since we're going for an Asian adjacent vibe, I quickly drafted a pattern for a kimono style cardigan. I have this jacquard fabric that is perfect for these style outfits, but as you can see, it frays when you look at it. Thankfully, in this episode, we're going to witness baby's first overlocker. I have wanted this machine for years now, and the stars aligned and I felt ready to purchase one. I hope you enjoyed this segment of me figuring this one out. I cut my pieces and started by pressing the neck trim in half, which resulted in this disaster. Now it was too warm and it burned off. Why? Why does this keep happening to me? I hate this stupid iron. Oh, and it peed now. Great. I need a new iron. I had to temporarily bring back the OG Enchanterium iron while I wait for a smaller replacement to finish the job. And we're going to start sewing at the back seam. Test piece. Just gonna put it right sides together. And let's hope I threaded it correctly. And this is what it looks like. No fraying, no nothing. So I think it's gonna be great. So let's sew our back. Sewing on curves is still something I'm learning, but I think I've got this one alright. Because I was practicing with the threads being colored the same way that they are coded here. So it's easier to know which threads you're pulling out. But you're pulling out the top 2, and then you tie it off, and it's secure. I next added the neckband to the neckline, also on the serger, making sure the curves don't defeat me. And now I'm going to press it with the seam allowance on the inside, and I'm actually going to top stitch it near the edge for a nicer finish. And let's see, I did not goof myself this time because I did on the mock-up. So I have a nice curve. I'm gonna press it and stitch it down with my regular sewing machine. I finished the edges of the sleeves and top stitched them here as well, so I could move on to the next somewhat hard thing, sewing the side seam, which includes an inside corner. Because the serger has a knife! No! It's a bit more tricky than a normal sewing machine, but I made it work. The last was the bottom hem, and I can see that there is some misalignment where I started the stitches on the sleeves, but that's something future Barb will work on improving. I'm really happy with the fit and finish of this, and I'm so excited to make more projects on my new machine. To complement the outfit, I'm going to be making a mini skirt. I taped up the doll to make a pattern, and I cut it out to flatten it. For ease of use, I transfer it to paper and cut it out of gold faux leather. I start by sewing the darts in the back pieces on my sewing machine with a pretty long stitch length, so not to rip the fabric. I'm using clips not to puncture the leather anywhere, as it would not close up. I attach the backs to the front at the side seam, and instead of top stitching the seams, I am gluing them down towards the back to lay flat. I do the same with the darts. Next we can hem the top and bottom edges, which I also do with glue. I marked double the width of the hem and put the glue there, as it glues best to itself. Then I just fold the hem to the line and bang it out with my hammer. I then sew the back seam about halfway, glue the seam allowance down, and attach a snap in the back for closure. I finally got some closure. Our cyberpunk concept has a lot of metal-like parts, so to match the head to the body, I'm painting the monitor with grey paint. It took a few layers to make it opaque, but I actually don't mind a patchy texture because it adds a bit of age to the metal parts. I painted the ears light pink and did a thin line around the face. After 2 coats of Mr. Super Clear, I can start drawing the basic features like eyes, nose, brows, and lips. At this stage of the face-up, I'm using watercolor pencils and chalk pastels and adding a coat of MSC whenever I feel like the surface doesn't take more pigment. I'm adding cat or tiger-like stripes, very simple and stylized. This doll has a cartoon-like silhouette, not realistic at all, and the whole vibe reminds me of games or anime aesthetic. Since this is a Moonlight Jewel branded doll, I couldn't stop myself from adding a graphic eyeliner. She usually does it in a more complex style, but here we have the stripes on her forehead, and I don't want the face to look too busy, so our Miko has a simple yellow liner. After spraying with MSC, I can enhance the colors with another layer of pencils. This doll is a 3D printed prototype, and I was too lazy to sand her face, so to cover the imperfections, I'm adding a few dark green freckles. I'm going for a cheerful expression, but with an attitude. I want her expression to match the "aha" sound Barb made at the beginning of this video. Hopefully, I can make it by drawing the right shape of brows. First, I thought I wanted them grey, as the TV head is kind of like hair, but it didn't look good, so I changed them to this greenish blue. I never know how to name this color. Is it blue or green? Mint? Teal? Seafoam? Turquoise? I think I'm going to stick to teal. I'm adding white details like waterline, individual hair on the brows, and white spots all around her face. Perfecting the lashes took some time, but in this style they go pretty quickly. Now I'm adding a few layers of Pearl X powder for that extra shine. I'm using green on her forehead and pink on the cheeks. And then I thought that interference green and blue powders can look really cool on the grey TV part, and so I applied 2 layers there too. In our last video we wanted to use original Smart Doll eyes, but we swapped them for a handmade pair. But this time we will use them.
Justice for Smart Doll eyes!
We found purple and brown eyes with pointy irises, and they look perfect with the kimono.
Elisa sent me the 3D file for the feet ahead of time, so I could prepare a 3D model for the shoe bases. I printed the foot as well to use as a last, and taped them together with masking tape. In the tape, I can draw out the pattern for the upper, which I can transfer to paper for any modifications and cut out of the fabric. I made the insoles with cardboard, which I covered with black cotton fabric. I flatten everything out by smacking it with a hammer and check that it will fit the base.
Base.
I buffed the 3D print with a nail file to increase surface area for the glue and attach the insole to the base.
Base.
I have these mini buckles, but they are a bit too long with the double holes on each side, so I'm trimming them off as I won't need the adjustability. To the upper, I will add straps made out of elastic, like so. I put some freight check on the ends of the elastics and I am just hand sewing them to the uppers. For the outside, with the shorter pieces, I only attach them about a centimeter so that the closure actually works later. And for the long side, I first secured the buckle in a loop and added at the top of the blue strap, sewing it down all the way. The buckles aren't actually the closures here, I added a small piece of Velcro to the straps. I can attach the upper to the base with glue now. It slots into the base perfectly. With the foot in the shoe, I measured how long the straps should be and added the other Velcro piece. To make the transition from the upper to the sole, I'm using my most recent favorite technique, adding a thin wire along the transition. It makes for a very finished and professional look. And finally, with the cutoffs from the buckle, I made tiny end caps for the straps. In the game, the cat has a backpack, for a reason I can't explain without spoilers, so we're going to make a backpack, since we need a housing for the EL Wires battery pack anyway. I'm making it out of this iridescent scale pattern vinyl. I start with the side piece, which will have a zipper, so I attach two pieces either side of it. I add the bottom part of the side piece right sides together so it creates a loop. We need to trim off the zipper, but never do it with your fabric scissors. Here we have the sides, which are conveniently marked with the seam, and I'm putting these seams together to mark the top and bottom of the loop. With the front and back panels, I can mark the top and bottom and sides by folding it in half and making a notch. These notches will have to match up between the front or back panel and the side. To make the side fit the outline of the back panel, I snip the curves and ease them together. At this point, I also slip in the straps, very angrily. Okay. Then you have to just sew them together, which is easier than it seems. I attach the front panel in the same way. After trimming the seam allowance, the backpack can be turned to the right side, and the last detail is to measure the straps on the doll and stitch them closed. The shoes look amazing already, but they could use some color on the soles. I'm painting a layer of white as a primer and then going over with light teal. I painted the bottom misprinted part with a darker tone, so it appears like it was part of the design. I want the middle part to stand out even more, so I'm painting it lighter as bright colors appear larger and closer to the viewer. I also painted a few stripes on the straps, and the shoes are ready. Or I thought they were, but more on that later. Barb tried to make a tube top, but we decided to paint a bra instead. I chose pink for the base to match the pink stripes on her face, but quickly realized that it has to go well with the kimono as well, so I changed some parts to purple. I want to fit the shape to the printing line in the middle, and also cover the unsanded supports with the darker paint. And this is what it looks like. The tail will mostly stay as it is. I'm just adding some grey, gold and purple paint to match with the rest of the design, and then adding 2 layers of matte acrylic varnish for protection. Time for the wire assembly. The starting point is the hole in the back, as the battery pack is going to be in the backpack. Then it will go through the neck, chest, belly and calves. My first idea was to start at the left side of the neck. Do the left side first, then turn the wire back and go to the other leg, turn back again, do the right part and finish at the neck. This solution means I have to thread both legs with a doubled wire, and that's the most difficult part. So I'm going with the top part first and then going to one leg, turning back to the other leg and finishing on one of the cuffs. Barb helped me with threading the leg part and also with final assembly of the doll. The EL wire is not very visible when it's bright, but it looks cool in the dark. When I was doing her face, I did this lemon-like yellow eyeshadow and also yellow buttons, but this generally suit the skirt and the thingies on the kimono. So Barb did a very bright yellow skirt, but I think it doesn't suit the vibe, you know, that we're going for. So we're keeping the golden skirt, the gold skirt, but I will repaint the eyeshadow and the buttons for a little bit more muted gold-like yellow. After fixing the face, I also added a little bit of gold paint to the mechanical parts. It looked weird when only the gold part was shiny, so I applied a glossy varnish on some of the parts. It makes it look more cohesive with the gold. And as a last minute detail, I also added a bit of gold to the shoes. This is how she turned out. I usually prefer to stick to body types I know well and have patterns for, but customizing Miko made me realize that I don't have to be scared of other dolls and that I can always work out a pattern from scratch. We absolutely love how cute and quirky this doll is, from the TV head and plug tail to the smaller details like the hearts and the knee joints. If you would like to have your own Miko, the pre-order for these dolls will start on the 17th of September and will come with all the extras we showed you at the beginning of the video. For more details, check out the description box below. We decided to name our girl Yuri because the game Stray sounds similar to the word stray, which is a Polish word for an uncle, but a very specific uncle, your father's brother. And our father's brother is Jerzy, which is technically George in English, but we call him Jurek because that's the shortened name for Jerzy. And the closest thing to Jurek, in our opinion, is Yuri. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Also visit Enchanterium.com for new patterns. Thanks! Are you guys excited for Halloween this year? I know it's still early, but I think Enchanterium will be feeling the spooky vibes very soon. Make sure to check out Meekos made by Etellan and Moonlight Jewel. We'll link them down below. Make sure to follow us on Instagram for some sneak peeks and subscribe for future videos. Have an enchanted day, and we'll see you next time. Boo! I mean, bye. It's not a Halloween video yet. There's no bloopers in this video. I have nothing else to say.